Hey Razmanites, how's it going? Well, you're probably looking at me going, Raz, why in the world are you wearing a headset when you're on the same camera that you always use? Well, remember I told you that I had a joint review coming up? Well, this is that review, and the way that I'm doing it is I'm actually being joined on Skype by my good friend Ryan, Rchattaway87. Ryan, are you there?
I am here. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here, and we are very, very excited to be bringing you a joint episode for the first time. This is the first time I've ever done this on the Razman's Reality, and I really wanted to do it for Ryan because he's extremely undersubbed, and I remember how hard it is to get noticed in this community. It took me a long time for me to get to where I am, so I figured there was only so much that shoutouts could do. So we found a film that we both saw, and we thought we need to put a review up on YouTube. So it is our honor today to bring you a review for a film that you all know is near and dear to our franchise, rather, that you all know is near and dear to my heart and is near and dear to Ryan's as well. We are here today to review. Ryan, do you want to do the honors?
Yes. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Today, on the Razman's Reality. Alright Ryan, so Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. We've been waiting for this one for a while as far as rumors about would there be a fourth one after the ending of the third one, and I give them credit because even though there was a delay, this film picks up right where At World's End left off. Did you like that aspect?
Yeah, you would think that it would have been a way bigger jump in, every aspect of the movie, but it really looks like they were filmed at some point. It looks like they were filmed together, like right after another. I mean, it's really close in production and everything as the other films.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that, especially when we delve into some things that we might have a chance to get into later. But let's just talk about the character breakdown to start with. Johnny Depp. Did he still pull off Jack Sparrow, or did you have any niggles that you saw in his performance? How did you feel about it?
I thought Johnny Depp did Jack Sparrow as good as he could do. I thought there was times where I was actually thinking, man, this is why I go to see these movies, because Johnny Depp steals every scene he's in. And I thought some of the humor that he used outdid some of the humor in the other movies. So I thought, I think Jack Sparrow's alive and well. There's nothing, I don't think he was lagging in any area. What was your opinion?
I was just going to say that I totally agree with that. I think that these are Johnny Depp's movies. The side characters are great, especially Gibbs, who we'll get into next, but I think that without Jack Sparrow, this franchise as a whole would not have succeeded. So I completely enjoyed his performance this time around. Gibbs is as brilliant as ever, and he has some of his best lines in this sequel, I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that, and I thought it was such a great character, and I'm glad that it didn't go away. I feel like he was more involved in this film than he has been before, and maybe it's because in some of the earlier films the Orlando Bloom storyline was kind of taking up most of the screen time, but him being in it and being such a huge part of it, it was awesome. It was awesome to see him get just as much screen time as Jack Sparrow. And so, I thought it was pretty entertaining on his part.
Oh, absolutely. And, this was the first time that we heard Jack actually call Gibbs his first mate. I mean, that was always alluded to in the first three, but we never heard the words come out of his mouth. So I thought that was a great scene and moment in this film.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything regarding that, their partnership and their just not, they don't have like your normal kind of partnership. It's so dynamic, and one second you think they hate each other, and then the next second you realize, oh man, they don't hate each other, and it keeps it exciting. I mean, it's not just some boring first mate kind of relationship. It actually has some humor to it, and that's what makes it fun to watch.
I absolutely agree. And speaking of a love-hate relationship, Barbossa, Jeffrey Rush, thank God makes a return for this film. And he's another guy that without him, I don't see these films working. And his relationship with Jack really takes somewhat of a different turn in this film. I mean, what did you think of it?
It took a different turn, but it just really brings out the fact that he's a pirate, and so whether it's working with the king, or whatever, he still is a pirate, and he's ruthless. And whether he's friends with Jack Sparrow or not, that changes throughout the movie. But it, I don't know. I think, first of all, I like Jeffrey Rush in anything he's in, and I think he's a great actor. And so, I mean, there was points of that where I thought that, Johnny Depp and Jeffrey Rush were trying to steal screen time from each other, because, I mean, I really feel like, if it wasn't this kind of movie, if it was any other kind of movie, I bet you $1 million that the Academy Awards, he would get nominated, because, he is such a great actor. And I think with the relationship with him and Jack, I don't know, it's just one of those things where, if he wasn't in the movie, then it would have been a huge loss, because there's only so much that one character can do, pulling a movie.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Well, without getting away into spoiler territory, because again, this is playing in the cinema, so we don't want to give too much away for anyone that hasn't seen it, but what I was alluding to as far as it taking a different turn, did you like the way that was written? Do you think that makes sense? Why the two characters actually ended up helping each other? Or do you think it was too much of a stretch? Or
no, I don't think it was a.
What was your feeling?
I don't think it was a stretch at all. They're pirates, and so they do whatever benefits them. Not necessarily if they help each other out or not help each other out. It's not really about their feelings for each other. It's which way are they going to benefit the most. And I guess in that situation, they realize they benefit more together.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I thought that, especially given the ending, which again we can't talk about until we can come back and do a Blu-ray review, but given the ending, I thought that that ending was so important for the dynamic between those two, and if they hadn't pulled it off, it would never work.
Yeah, I can't wait to actually talk about the actual Blu-ray release, because the ending reminded me of another ending of another famous movie, but I won't get into that. But I just think the ending of the movie is perfect. Yeah,
well, we'll let the cat out of the bag right now. We're gonna be back. We're gonna do the on Stranger Tides Blu-ray review together as well, as soon as we both get it, because there's gonna be so much that we can't say about the film right now, because we want to be fair to the audience here and not give away spoilers. Alright, now we have to get into the new characters. What did you think of Angelica? Did you like Jack having a love interest? Did you think it worked in the film?
I think it worked, and I really like Penelope Cruz as an actress. I think it worked very good, and I thought she was great, but I do not think it would have worked if it was anybody else, if the character was written any other way, because you can't have Jack with somebody like, Keira Knightley in the earlier films, even though, sometimes they joked around with that, but I personally thought, I love the other movies, but I was kind of getting sick of that the other, actors, or Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom in the movie, kind of, and I really liked them as characters, but at the same time I didn't, or I was just ready for something new, and I think they hit the spot with Penelope Cruz as a pirate. She has everything from the accent to the looks, and she's the kind of woman you'd want to get into a fight with.
Now let's move on to Blackbeard, because I don't know about you, but this one was one that kind of scared me, because Blackbeard was like the most known pirate, or is the most known pirate before these films. I was like, oh man, they're putting Blackbeard in the Caribbean films? Like, how's that gonna work? But they pulled it off.
Yeah, they pulled it off good. It's kind of, I mean, of course they fictionalized him a lot, but I mean, that's what you got to do. But a lot of the interest for me with this film was the fact that it was a historical character, and that it was just taking stories based off the myth part of his life. And around the same time I saw this film, actually, it's the same time I guess they found Blackbeard's anchor to his ship off the coast of North Carolina. So I was like really excited to hear that. You know, it's just kind of like one of those things.
Yeah, one of the alignments in the cosmos. I agree. I heard about that too. Alright, real quick, because we don't want to spend all of our time in this review on the acting. There are other elements being cinephiles that we got to talk about. But the merchant character in this film, the minister character, I thought he was the most interesting character in the film. Would you agree with that?
You said, which character was this?
The minister character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was definitely, like, they continued the tradition with having great supporting characters, and it was very interesting. But overall, the mystery and kind of behind it, you know, it was just, I don't know, it was just I thought a great movie.
Yeah.
In that respect.
And I gotta ask you one more thing without getting into spoilers. The young kid that we saw in the film, are you and I on the same wavelength of thinking that he might have a connection to other characters that we've seen in the pirate universe before? Did you think that when you saw him?
Yes, I do, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, I do. I felt like there was a connection. Awesome.
Well, we'll definitely have to talk about that when we can actually delve into the film properly then, because that would be cool if that actually is the case. Now, on to, of course, the cinephiles. We have to talk about direction. The direction in this was amazing. I thought that all the camera work he used and the risk that he took, especially the way he portrayed mermaids, was just unreal. I've never seen him done that way before.
Yeah, Rob Marshall, who directed it, really took over, you know, I mean, he was trying to fill some pretty big shoes, you know, how Gore Verbinski was the director for the other films, but I think he took it over. And for some of your viewers that don't know who Rob Marshall is, he also directed like Chicago, he directed 9, Memoirs of a Geisha. He's a very good director. He knows how to work pace, and he's very artistic in the way he directs, and that's what kept the pace of the film going. Like, it was just, he treated every scene with artistic talent. Like, I mean, he just really did a great job.
I completely agree. When I heard that Rob Marshall was coming on board, and by the way, I knew it was Rob Marshall. I said he, because I wanted to give the lead there to Ryan to say his name. But when I heard that there was going to be a new director taking over, I was apprehensive. But once I heard it was Rob Marshall, the apprehension went away, because I knew he would do well, and he did.
Yeah, he did a great job, and I didn't even feel any skeptic or anything like that. Like, whenever I heard it was him, you know, just like you, when I heard that he was going to be the director, I was just kind of thinking, sweet, you know, I was all for it.
Yeah, because I love everything he's done, Joyce, for the film. The cinematography is just absolutely beautiful. I mean, the way they film the sea and all of the locations in the film, even the stuff in London, in the city, I mean, it was just breathtaking. This film, I think, to me, was the most breathtaking Pirates film since Christopher.
Yeah, definitely the vision of the film, especially some of the later scenes of the film. It's very, very, like, it's one of those films I cannot wait till it come out. Until it comes out on Blu-ray, just to experience in the home high definition. And the, you know, I just think it was amazing in the look, and the city had that gritty feel. You know, the dirtiness of the city in London at that time period. But then when you moved into the you know, the waters. It was just crisp and clear, and it's like you felt like you were there. And then into the jungles, the same way. And I thought it was a great, whoever was in charge of cinematography did a wonderful job.
I completely agree. All the locations, it was all completely seamless. So, bottom line for this one, again, I didn't talk about the plot. We didn't talk about the plot. Sorry, force I have it there. We didn't talk about the plot because we don't want to spoil this film for anyone that has yet to have the opportunity to see it. But overall score for it being a sequel and for it starting a new chapter of 3 trilogies, I have to give this a 5 out of 5. I thought everything in the film was perfect, and it was my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I give it a 5 out of 5 also, and in fact, I thought it was more fun. That's the thing, like, I like going to the movies and having fun, and I felt like this film was a lot more fun, where the other 2 sequels, it was fun, but then it got kind of deep, and like it was really, you know, emotionally strenuous for a while. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on? And like, I don't want it to be depressing like crazy, and I thought it was fun, so I give it 5 out of 5. I liked it just as much as the first one, and in some ways, in certain situations, I like it better than the first one. So either way, I thought it was a great film, so I loved it.
And you know, I just, like we said, it's 5 out of 5 to us, and I just don't understand where all this complaining is coming from critics. They just don't seem to like this film, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of these same critics that are saying that kind of stuff. I did some research. They're the same kind of critics that didn't really like the other films because they were turned off by their length to begin with. And so a lot of their complaints that they have about this film is it's the same complaints that they had about the other ones. But with this one, it has even more of a reason for everybody to complain about it, because it's new director, new kind of supporting cast in some way, and so it was just a reason for them to complain. But this is one of those instances where, you know, sometimes the sequels can be a lot worse than the originals, but for a 4th sequel, or for the 4th film in the franchise, and I think it's amazing. And I don't even know what the critics are talking about.
I completely agree. Like I said, to me, this feels like the 2nd film, not the 4th film. Not to say that, you know, Dead Man's Chest and Outworlds didn't suck, because they don't. But to me, this just feels more like it should have came after Curse of Black Pearl.
Yeah.
But alright, so with that, I think we're done. So, Ryan, again, thank you so much for being here and doing this.
It was fun.
I really hope this turns out as well as it was, to actually have a live conversation on the actual episode. And if it does, we will definitely have to do this again, because I just thoroughly enjoy talking to you so much. Our opinions are so similar, and the fact that you aren't up there yet on YouTube, to me, is a travesty. So I really hope that this video helps you gain audience, man, because you deserve it so much.
Well, thank you. It was fun being on.
Alright, well, as always, folks, as we like to say, Ryan, I'll let you go first.
Oh. Remember, there's 3 ways of doing things: the right way, the wrong way, and the Rchattaway.
And as always, this is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.